Good morning, Mike the MC, bringing another self-care video. Today I'm going to continue off with my Teaching Catechism playlist of Chapter 18 of Sadlier's book on Matrimony and Holy Orders. This will be just as a teacher teaching a class to students across whoever's on YouTube here, not from my personal opinion, just me as a teacher from that perspective. For Catholics and non-Catholics learning more about these sacraments in our faith and how they can be of help to you. And if you're curious to learn more about them, start asking people around, hey, well, what's so important about these sacraments? Talk to somebody that knows about it. So this will be a great topic to discuss. So let's get this started. So these are the faith words from Chapter 18 of Sadlier's book on Matrimony and Holy Orders. We live our faith, Chapter 18, Holy Orders and Matrimony. The faith words. Charity, a gift from God that enables us to love Him and to love our neighbor. Deacon, a single or married man who assists priests and bishops in the service of God. Priest, ordained men who preach the gospel and serve the faithful. And a bishop, a priest ordained in the episcopate by the Pope who receives fully the sacrament of holy orders and carries on the mission of the apostles. So that first term of charity, it's a very big word in the Catholic faith, but honestly for everyone around the world. And the way I understand it as a teacher, it's how can you provide a service, not just for yourself, but for the family and people who you take care of in the community or school, etc., etc. And how can you think of ways to help more people in different ways with different services? So, for example, say you want to start a book club. And people are wondering, oh, why would you start that? Well, maybe kids after school may want to just get together, share ideas, and what we want to talk about. And that's from a lower level perspective. From a higher level perspective, a priest can say, oh, why don't I start a Bible study group for my church? The parishioner, the pastor, and it could be anybody, a minister, just to get their church going and to get the fire alive within the community. And so the charity, it's not just a service for inspiring people to be great, but also for kind of in a way changing the mindset, inspiring families to do good, to do something great, and to look at these examples and say, wow, they're doing something great in that area. Why don't I do that in my community? And so then the spread of charity grows, and that is where that becomes contagious. And so that would be the first term from a catechist teacher sharing with you. Now, the next three terms, I'm going to just talk about the sacrament of holy orders because it's with the priest, the deacon, and the bishop. And so the deacon, if you ever go to a Catholic Mass, he will have the one robe or cloth going across his chest. He only will have one, and that's how you know that's the deacon. The priest will have two going down the chest in the front, and that's how you know that's the priest. And so when you go to a Mass and you see, okay, the priest is really doing a lot of the readings from the gospel and from the missal as he's getting ready to prepare the sacraments, especially the Eucharist at every Mass. And the deacon, he can assist with doing a homily and other parts of the Mass as well. And those two in the community will work together. And now another side note, you can have, probably one priest in a community, in a church, but the deacons, you can have a few, several, if your community is blessed with several people who want to fulfill that role in the church. Now the bishop, he is ordained in a unique way where different bishops talk with the Pope and they look across the world and say, that priest is doing great things for that community. He could be in the U.S., Argentina, etc., etc. And so these bishops are looking across the world and telling the Pope, today is Pope Francis, and say, can we ordain this priest to be a bishop? We think he would be a great fit for the community and to really inspire that area to become good and charitable and holy in this place. What do you think, Pope Francis? And then the Pope will say, okay, yeah, let's send him to the episcopate. Let's get him ordained as a bishop. And that is a beautiful ceremony as well, where they'll use oil as part of the ceremony. And as Catholics, that's a big part, one of the charisms of using oil to being anointed in the church. And so that may be another video for another time, but for the sake of this topic of holy orders, those are the three of deacon, priest, and bishop that help immediately in the church community in your area. And now with matrimony. This is a beautiful sacrament in the faith where we've always understood it as a man marrying a woman. Okay, now bear in mind, like I said early in this video, I'm not going to get into other topics. That may be one for another day. But from the Catholic perspective, the idea is to grow families, to help the kids grow in healthy, stable environments. And that is the goal for a family, I would hope. Now, to continue on this topic further, if you're not called to the married life or the priesthood, vocation life, then consider the single life. As a catechist teacher sharing with you all from the church community, it's kind of been the third way of life lately in the church. So this is where I'll kind of deviate to just an opinion, but just on the side, because some people wonder, man, I'm not married or I'm not called to the priest. Is there something wrong with me? I don't have my vocation set. What am I supposed to do? Well, sometimes there are single people in the community, church, Catholic, non-Catholic, where you are helping the people in some way. And there's nothing to be ashamed about that, being alone and single and living your life, trying to help people. And so if you feel the pressure, don't just get discouraged. Don't feel too sad about it. I mean, it's all right to be on your own, to do good things. And honestly, you're free to do other things that people may not be able to do. I mean, you're not obligated. Like if you were a priest, you have to go to this meeting, this meeting, this meeting. A married couple, you have to go attend this event, and yada, yada, yada. As a single person, you're free. You can go and tackle another thing that no one can do at this time because you're free to go your own way. And so for the sake of this video, those are the three general ways of living life: married, consecrated, or single life. But also, how do you figure that vocation? And as Catholics, we always will turn to prayer, talk to friends, family, but it's also what you feel deep down. And I was actually in the seminary, and so I thought that was one vocation I was called to serve. But my director said, what do you want to do, Mike, as part of that as well? Yes, you're giving yourself totally to God, but he wants you to be happy in that service too. And so, yeah, I would say, I want to serve and help other people in the community, be a good person. But part of it is, what am I supposed to accomplish with my things, my skills for the community? And God will use those skills through you to help people. And so keep that in mind. That is what we call in the Catholic faith instruments of peace. And so wherever you are in the community, Catholic, non-Catholic, how are you an instrument of peace, and how are you going to help the people in your life? And once you find and expand upon your role, you're doing good for the people. So that is for Mike the MC. Enjoy your Monday, start of another week. Be safe out there and find that service that you can provide for other people. Have a good one.